Hi everyone, this is my perfect Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn file. Now, as you can see, this is not a file that you could put together through legitimate means. I used codes from Gecko OS, which is accessible through the Wii's Homebrew channel, and this is what the perfect file looks like to me. So I have it set up so that all units can be selected for the final map, and that includes Laron, who appears in this final map. And what I'm showing is a showcase of what all the characters' stats and skills and items are, and you'll see that everybody has a support partner as well. In order to raise their supports, there wasn't a code for that specifically, but there were chapter warping codes that I had to use by trial and error, because sometimes revisiting a specific chapter would cause the game to crash. But I found that revisiting the chapter in part 1 where you are fighting the Lagoos with the piles of gold, that worked out, where I was able to build the support of characters that wouldn't normally have enough time together to get their A support. So for example, Titania and Volk are units that you could not feasibly get an A support, or easily at least, since they appear on the different groups in part 4. And you might be asking why Titania and Volk. Titania and Volk is the closest thing that Titania can have to Grail. I know there's Ike, but Ike is obviously for Soren. And all the other Grail mercenaries had their own partners that I preferred for them to have. So this is... so just going through this list here, because I made it so that all units could be deployed in the final chapter, that means that you could have all 3 herons out there dancing each other. And I don't know if you had noticed with showing Racing a lot earlier, but you can see with all of the Lagoos that I've given them all the skill Form Shift, so that they can all transform without needing to spend a turn using a Lagoo Stone or a Lagoo's Gem, and they get to just simply permanently be transformed without any issues. And so that is so with that setup for all the herons, you could infinitely dance and just clear the final chapter in 1 turn. Now, you'll notice that with the staff units, I've given them items or staves that are normally locked to a unit, an enemy unit, such as L Sleep and Rewarp, and obviously everything is blessed, so there is no weapon or item durability to worry about. And I also made it so that for the Lagoos, they all have their SS strike with their SS counterpart weapon. That was a little bit trickier to put together because there is not an arm scroll, or there is not an arm scroll equivalent for the strike level. And so throughout this file, a lot of the Lagoos were spending time just grinding out the level ups for their strike. And for other Lagoo, and then for the Lagoo's units that do not normally get Form Shift, so everything that's not a Lagoo's Royal, it was a matter of using a code in order to get that in. What's tricky about that, though, is that the codes that are available online don't always match with your units in the game. So for example, if there was a code that gave Raphael the Form Shift ability, you'd put the code in and then you would actually see it on a different unit like Leonardo. And so it was a little bit of trial and error as well with trying to use a code for a different unit online and applying it, hoping that it landed on the Laguz unit in your file that you were trying to get that form shift ability to. The other thing that I also wanted to mention that I was very sad about in planning out every single person's support was that we have an odd number of units if we do not include Laron. And I wanted Oliver to support with Laron because they're both senators, and really there are not many options for Oliver that I think make more sense than any other unit. And so that was the only one left, but then when I tried to build the support between Oliver and Laron, with having more than enough turns together and shoving each other and such, it was not there was no support to be raised. I wasn't sure if Laron's exclusion on the Serenese Forest website was an indication that he could not gain support. So I just simply thought because you recruit him in the final chapter, why bother recording what his support looks like if you're not going to be able to do it anyway. But I can confirm that Laron does not support with anybody. Similar to the Black Knight, which is not included in this list because you cannot have the Black Knight in your army at the end of the game. But you can have Laron, so he's included. And so yeah, so this is the file. It's very nice. I like seeing all the green numbers. What's unfortunate is that so I've given everybody a movement of 20, but you'll notice that there are Laguz here that show 18 movement, and that's because if you cap out their movement at 20 and then they transform and then they untransform, then they go back to the 18. But transform, they do reach that 20. And so yeah, here's looking at Laron again, showing that I've recruited him. The way that it works, if you were to start this chapter, is Laron would simply appear on the left side as he normally does, but he has all the equipment and stats that were given to him in the outfit options. So here, you see that Nasir and Gareth have an A support, which would not be possible normally. The most they could get, I believe, is B, or C rather, if they just have that one map together against Sephiran in the map prior. But yes, we have everyone together as intended. So yeah, so that is this file. I love this game. I know that there are a lot of people who will say that this file is invalid because of the cheats that were used, but I care more for the end product of what it looks like. So there you go. Thanks for watching.